Hi guys, so I recently had the opportunity of shooting an entire series of Indian cooking for an international app which was shot all the way in Spain. Now, I'm very fortunate that I'm being able to share this on my YouTube channel because given my growing international audience, I thought a series in English will be well appreciated. Isme na, we have simple recipes like how to boil rice, how to make paratha, to some more exotic recipes like tikki chole and biryani. So all of this is available on this entire series. Do watch it and don't forget to share your feedback. We all have this notion that Indian cooking is tough, is also overwhelming when it comes to aroma, and is something that you can only eat when you go to a restaurant or go to an Indian family's home. Today, I am here to teach you the little nuances which will help you make this beautiful cuisine at home with ease. And I'll keep sharing lots of tips and tricks to make this process really easy for you. So, what are we doing today? Today, I'm starting with something which I know is really popular world over. Everybody loves a paratha, right? So, let's make a paratha and I'll show you how it's done from start to finish. Let's begin. All right, so for parathas, which is Indian flatbread, we need whole wheat flour, which is right here. Then we've got some clarified butter, a little bit of salt, and we're going to add these carom seeds, which add a lot of flavor and also help to digest the parathas easily. All right, so let's begin. We're going to start with a pinch of salt that we add to the flour. We add this carom seeds, which we call Ajwain in India. Then we add a dash of oil. And we mix this all together. So we mix all these ingredients first. Then we start making the dough by adding a little bit of water. Now always start with little because you can always keep adding more. But if you add too much in the beginning, they'll become all sticky, which you will not like, and it'll be very difficult to make the parathas. All right. So just the way you need your dough for pizzas or regular bread or your croissants, it's almost like that, except much quicker. Okay, this jar is very dangerous because a lot of water comes together. This part don't keep, huh? So a good tip is, which I haven't followed here, but you should, always try and keep your bowl when you're kneading over a napkin. I can do it with one hand, I think. I know how to multitask. And I'm going to show you what you should be doing just to make it easier. What happens that way is that your bowl doesn't slide away while you're making the dough. See, I can multitask. All right. Almost done. I'm going to just take a little more water and I'm going to do it like the way I just did, just to ensure that a lot of it does not fall in. So this is almost done. I'm just going to take a little bit more oil in my fingers because we want a nice soft dough. Just knead this back in. That's it. I told you. It's very, very easy. Just get it on hands. We can move this bowl away. Give it a little bit of a rounding here. Yeah. Goes back into the bowl. We keep it covered just for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we begin to making the parathas. All right, so the dough has been resting for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now let's begin with the parathas. So every time you take the dough out, a little bit of the dough out, make sure you cover the rest of the dough again. It helps the dough not to get dry. So we take a little bit of the dough ball, and here I have some dry flour. So I dunk it in just to make it easy to roll it out. And then we start rolling. So this is a very rustic way of making a paratha. And right now, don't worry if you don't get that perfect round, because we're going to turn this into a square. Now we take a little bit of the ghee, which is the clarified butter. We add it to this round that we have created. And then we fold it like this. Just keep pressing it at every stage because you don't want it to come off. But don't worry, if it comes off, it's your flaky little paratha, which you don't mind. Okay, dunk it back in to the whole wheat. And now we roll it out again. All right, so you can simply flatten it out with your fingers as well, like the way I'm doing. That's the easier way to do it. Then you just slap it in both your hands, and this is basically done so that all the excess dry flour gets shredded out. And there, you just add it to the pan and let it be for a few seconds. All right, now we cook it on the other side again. And then we add some more ghee. Yes, you need a fair amount of ghee, but you can decide how much you want to add. But that's what is the magic ingredient in these parathas, so you don't want to lose it out. Also ensure that you grease the edges because it's very, very important to get the edges right. I also told you about keeping them thin, and now I'm telling you about greasing the edges as well. All right. So in Indian homes, we usually use our hands, but I don't want to scare you. So I'm going to stick to using a spatula. Let's see if the other side is done. Getting there. Nice. And we add a little more ghee on this side. Just a little. Mind you, I'm just greasing them. And you can see it fluffing up a little, which is a sign of a good paratha. And again, when you use your spatula, try and press the edges. And you'll know why when you bite into a good paratha. All right, there you go. Paratha is ready. Looks good and easy to make, isn't it? All right, the parathas are ready. Now you can eat this with anything that you like, with some dal, with some egg burji. You can have it with vegetables, with leftover vegetables. And you know what? You can have these plain just with a little bowl of yogurt and some pickle. How's that? Try it. How many types of parathas can you make? Well, I'm going to make a beetroot paratha today, and I've shown you how to make a plain paratha, right? So you learn the basic of the paratha, dough there, and how to make a plain paratha. And today I will show you how to make a stuffed paratha. What your challenge is to make it with some other vegetable of your choice. I'll give you some hints. So I'm using beetroot here in my stuffing along with some potatoes. You can make it with plain potatoes, you can make it with sweet potatoes, you can add mixed of any vegetables that you like, you can even make it with spinach or with fresh fenugreek leaves. A lot of hints for you. The challenge is on you now. Let's begin with the beetroot paratha for the moment. So let's begin with my filling. I'm using a boiled potato which I will mash properly like so. Lovely. Now, like I mentioned, I am making beetroot paratha. So here's some grated beetroot for you. Now I'm going to add some grated beetroot to it. But mind you, beetroot has a lot of moisture of its own. So you have to squeeze it all out and then add it to the filling. Otherwise, you will not have a paratha, you will have a soup. Okay, so you added the beetroot. Now I'm adding some grated ginger. Some green chilies, again this is as per taste. Some salt and some chaat masala. Now, chaat masala is basically to add that little extra tanginess and sourness. If you don't have access to chaat masala, do not worry. You can add a dash of lemon juice to it. Okay. We'll also add some finely chopped onions because they really add to the flavor of this paratha. Last but not the least, some freshly chopped coriander leaves. And mix this really well. Mix this really well. Give it a taste. Check the seasoning right now because later, once the paratha is done, you won't be able to do anything. So let's taste it. Perfecto. Okay, now let's begin with making the paratha. I'm just going to wash my hands and be right back. All right, so since here we are not getting that whole wheat flour that we get in India, this has a lot of husk. I'm just sieving it so that it's a little lighter to put together and make the dough. So you can see so much of the husk is coming out. This is actually very healthy for us. It's full of fiber, so you are free to add this. But I want you to see that plain paratha that we eat, which is why I'm taking it out. But this is actually full of nutrition. All right, now we add a pinch of salt to this, some carom seeds, we call it ajwain or caraway seeds, a little dash of oil. Just give it a mix first before we turn this into a dough with the help of water. Now when you're adding water also, go little because very often the biggest problem that people have while making the dough is it gets too sticky because they add too much water right in the beginning. We just have to do this slowly. Okay, now we just keep this covered because if you leave it open, it will dry up and you don't want that. We leave it to rest for about 10 minutes and then begin with the rest. All right, so now I have a dough ready. You've seen the paratha dough. I've made it for the plain paratha. I'm going to take a small portion of it out. In fact, slightly larger because we are going to add the filling to this, right? So make a nice smooth ball out of it. Roll it out very slightly. Now we're going to add the filling to this. Just bring all the edges together. And what you do is that excess dough, which is remaining on top, you just pinch it out, put it back in your dough and press the skin. Okay, you might find it slightly tricky in the beginning when you're doing it for the first time, but don't worry, as you do it a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it. Now gently roll it out because now you have the stuffing inside the paratha. I think someone's phone is on. I hope it's not mine. Okay, now we let it cook on one side, then we turn it, and then we add our favorite ghee because there's no paratha that's complete without a nice dollop of ghee. Okay, and there, that lovely red spot that you see is my beetroot popping out. That's the beetroot paratha that's ready. Let's quickly make one more of it. And here, my beetroot parathas are ready. Aren't they easy to make? And they are oh so healthy. So do make it for breakfast. You can have it with a bowl of curd, you can have it with some pickle, or you can just have it as is. You can even pack it and take it to work and have it as a quick, healthy lunch. Now, your challenge is to make the same paratha either with beetroot or with any other vegetable that you like and share your pictures with